Not only that, Mike, but the combination with the Invoker and the Nature's Prophet, right? You get the Alacrity off on the Nature's Prophet. He's gonna hit like a truck and machine gun through that egg. So you still have solutions for the egg here. Team D, they go into the Axe. I'm not the biggest fan of the Axe in this lineup. You don't have synergy with the Face's Void all too much, so you could get the call. Maybe that's your setup for Chrono. Just catch the Chrono after, and I guess run from there. I suppose there's also the call Sunray combination coming through, so you can run around with that. I just feel like the pacing might be a bit slow from Team D, just because of how long it takes for Face's Void to get some farm up. It takes forever to farm in the Void, and you have really certain timings to play with. That Chrono has to catch even just a support in the first Chrono, just get that kill, go into jungle, build up. The Axe also needs some farm. Like, it's gonna go Vanguard. Maybe you see the man to blink as well with the Ag Shore down the line. Maybe you just completely ignore that. Either way, the Axe will need some items up to help him with his tankiness and presence, and that can also eat into the Void's farm. So it can kind of play slower, and Neon can sort of punish. Like, we just know how fast CTM plays with Nature's Prophet. He doesn't take his time at all. He just joins in early on. When there's a little bit more space, he can take his time, but he does apply that pressure from the get-go.
And he does. Final banouts to come. Team D, the Viper banout. Looks like both teams are kind of focusing on the off lane or mid, depending, OB.Neon. They seem to believe Team D is going to need another mid laner. Perhaps not looking to run the Krish laner again. And Krish, he does seem quite mechanically skilled, right? Like, maybe the laner, not the kind of hero you should put him on, but maybe something a bit more showy, right? Like a bit more showy offy kind of thing. You want him to be on maybe one of the Spirit Brothers who could just dance around, or something else, something with a bit more impact than, say, a laner who, if you have a bad start, it does tend to just kind of fall flat.
Yeah, it really does. I think maybe the Ember can come out again for Krish. That could be a really good option. Handles the Nature's Prophet treants quite nicely, especially once you have a Maelstrom up. Isn't the slowest hero to play as well. Like, again, you get the initial farm of Phase Boots and Orb of Corrosion, or just Brown Boots, Orb of Corrosion, and Urn. You're pretty much set to go. Lane matchup against the Invoker is manageable, although the Invoker can kind of toy around with you early on, and Upaj is the kind of player to do that, but I don't think it's like completely unplayable for Krish to get that Spirit Brother up. So we'll see if Team D does flex it. I think the Axe Lina lane is pretty alright. Like, you can try going for calls into LSA and get damage off that way. It's fairly tricky, but it can still line up if you want to go that route there for Team D. And it's not that greedy. I think the key thing with the Ember pick, one of those Spirit Brothers, is it wouldn't take too much farm if it's the Ember. If it's a Storm or a Void Spirit, it does take a little bit more, especially for Storm, but even the Void Spirit, like Yulet's timing's just a little bit harder to build up into, and then the Ags afterwards is a longer wait time. So I think the ideal is an Ember if they're going to flex.
Oh, okay. They'll go for the Lion. So mid laner again. I guess against the Invoker, it doesn't do too badly. Maybe they just want to try and run it back, see if they can make it work a second time. OB.Neon, not even going to think about it, go straight into a Beastmaster. I like this draft, John, because once you get that roar out, we went over this. You've got the Nature's Prophet TP, you've got the Invoker Sunstrike, or the Cataclysm later on. You've got plenty of units now with the Enchantress Beastmaster as well. And for this game, it feels like Team D are really going to have to watch their backs, right? Like, if this Nyx or Beastmaster are around you, you've got to be very careful.
Yeah, it's just going to be really scary. The information that Neon can get as well with the Hawks coming through to enable those rotations from Jinwell, to enable the Sunstrikes from Upaj, it's going to be pretty scary, and it gives him a good answer for the Void. If you don't catch Enryu in the Chrono, Roar's going to come through. If you don't catch Upaj before the BKB, Tornado EMP, Disarm's going to come out as well. Not going to feel great for the Faces Void here. Team D, with a line closer, I feel like they want to play fast with their supports. So they have to time themselves around Finger, time themselves around Egg on Ponlo, maybe look for a fast blink here in KYXY. Just play with the blink initiation, Sunray to follow up, Earth Spike as well, play with that damage output, and go from there. I think Neon did come out with a stronger draft though. They've got the counters to that Faces Void, they've got the fast pace, they've got the CTM Nature's Prophet, which speaks for itself. So they've got all the tools to get that on hand. And Yopaj, I just realized he is rocking that dark
Oh.
artistry persona. He looks so punchable. He looks like a jerk of a kid. Like, Invoker just looks
But
like a very
they
young
can't
bully.
see it yet, John. Just give me a second. Let's get into the
But
game.
he does.
and
I have to say it. He looks like a young bully. Like one of the kids that bullied me in school.
Oh.
Let's bring some flashbacks, Mike.
Oh, we'll, we'll get it. By the way, I've got to say, I saw a picture of you today. I think it
Oh,
was. I saw
why?
a photo of you on Facebook from when you
Oh,
were
no.
younger. I'm gonna share it later on Twitter, but just so you know, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just letting you know. You had the mid SF 4-minute Loathers Edge haircut back in the day when you were a kid. Yes, you did, Jonathan. Don't even try. You did have it. You had the haircut going. Did you ever play mid SF, John? Did you ever have a 4-minute Loathers back in Dota 1? You did, John.
Maybe?
You had the haircut. You must have. You must have been an SF player.
I remember doing the build. I don't remember if it was like 4 minutes because I was atrocious, but maybe in one of those dumb games where you just run at each other.
I'll get the photo up later on Twitter, just for everyone to see.
What kind of haircut do you imagine someone who gets 4-minute Lotars anyway?
What?
Like, what is the haircut? I don't even.
You're from the Philippines and you don't know what their haircut looks like.
Is it like the crew cut? Because I used to just get a crew cut every time. I don't know.
Oh, John. Yeah, well, I'll show you later, John. It's just how embarrassing. Moving on. So this Dark Artistry set on the Kid Invoker. I mean, my condolences to anyone that actually owned the original Dark Artistry set. Those prices really went down after this one came out, let me tell you, John. Luckily, I was too much of a tight ass to buy it myself when it originally came out, so I don't care.
Why would you even have it? Do you play Invoker, Mike?
I did.
Oh,
I used to be a really good Invoker player, actually. Used to be the quickest. Wasn't even close.
Well, he was thrown off by the throat singing.
Yeah. What is throat singing anyway? I don't get it.
It's singing with your throat as the instrument. Wait, hold that thought though, Drew.
Yeah, in a little bit of trouble. He's going to time walk away. Ponlo going to take a bit more damage. He's got no Icarus dive. The enchant's there. Ponlo, he's stuck around a bit too long, but they probably won't dive. You'll be okay.
I appreciate these stickers coming through from OB.Neon. The nice try, bro, right at the bounty when they grabbed it. Very nice. Still, we get to see the lanes break out. Ponlo is on that Pawns 5 Phoenix, laning with Drew on Void. So they've got ways to sustain the Void there, right? You can kind of just heal him up with a Sunray once that's up. You can maybe take an aggressive stance if you get a lucky bash, but laning against Beastmaster is never fun for a melee hero. It's never fun for most heroes. But he can really use those boars to slow down the farm pace of Drew, apply that constant harassment and slow early on, and just kind of prevent Drew from getting that flash farm he wants as quick as possible. Shanks as well, going to be around in that lane, so he's going to have the enchant creeps up at some point. He has the enchant slow to play with the boars. They can just really keep Drew locked in if they want to go for that kind of play. And for the Faces Void, Time Walk level 1, level 2, cooldown is very long. So you have to watch when you do commit for that heal, and if you have it off cooldown and you get jumped, there's not much you can really do there.
Certainly not. Of course, we'll have a look at the mid lane as well. You'll see Yopaj and Krish at it. I'd say Krish should have a much better time in this laning phase. You know, TA, pretty rough to go against, but the Invoker, not quite as much. And Yopaj, he has gone for the Qualifiers build-up, so not opting for that early point in Exhort. And so it is much easier to just try and out-CS this kind of Invoker now.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pretty steady lane for Yopaj. Like, I don't think he's going to be completely zoned out. He can still juggle around a regen, sustain himself in lane, and kind of hold his own. Of course, without the Exhort up, that means you're not going to see those early Sunstrike plays. So the side lane aggression is going to take some time for Yopaj. And I think that should provide some relief for Team B, not needing to worry about the stun combinations, the isolations with the Sprouts. But once you do get a couple of levels there, that's when the Invoker can start to get pretty spicy in that global action.
Absolutely. Bot lane as well, Genuel going to be there on his next assassin. You've got CTM on the Prophet again. This time KYXY and Destrus, a much better combination of heroes here against the Nature's Prophet. They can really abuse the treants and not allow CTM to just deny every single creep throughout this lane. And CTM already going to be forced to go for a reset at the fountain. Luckily, he can just come back with teleport. No problems for CTM.
Yeah, it's the beauty of pocketing that level 2. There's no real aggression that they can look for with a Sprout anyway. So it's just going to be a stable farming lane here for OB.Neon. It's down to Team D to play aggressive. And they have been applying that pressure well. You're not completely shutting out CTM. He is 3-4 CS behind, which isn't too bad.
Destrus was just kind of whiffed an Earth Spike there, but way off the mark. Nevertheless, won't matter too much. We'll just pretend like we didn't see it. Top lane, Drew, being chased down by Enryu, and you talked about this lane already, but it is a pretty annoying lane for the Void. So many units just kind of running at him. Even the Kobold Foreman is just running at Drew, just being very annoying. And even the Enchantress with the impetus shots, I mean, it's just constant damage to fly out. There's really nothing they can do about it either. They've just got to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, it's just such a slow lane for Team D. There's just not much you can do with a Faceless Void in this lane as a Phoenix. Ideally, I think Ponlo is going to have to look to start stacking up, but they're kind of already set around to cancel that off here. On the side of OB.Neon, Shanks is just going to keep a constant check there. He already has the Sentry and the Obs dropped in those camps. So there's nothing being built up, and that just kind of worries me for this pace. Oh.
Yeah, Krish. Walking up to the water rune, it gets denied right in his face. Nice little rotation there from our Enchantress Shanks. And speaking of Shanks, he's going to come back to the top lane where they have to be very wary of chasing Enryu because now the Enchantress is back. And Drew, he might just be dead. They are trying to switch targets here. Drew, he's going to time walk away. Impetus, Shanks. Oh, he's got the Hawk. The Hawk already there, just waiting for Drew. They do get the first blood on the Enchantress. Drew to go down. And this top lane just gets worse and worse as time goes on.
Yeah, Drew pings out a ward on lane. It doesn't realize it's the Hawk. They should realize at some point, but if they do commit the Sentry, it might be a bit of a resource wasted. Drew, that's kind of set back. Not the best feeling on that Faceless Void. Again, he's just so much slower in lane. And the recovery in jungle is just all blocked. I don't know how Drew is going to find that farm when 2 of his camps on that top jungle is already just prevented from even just spawning. Ponlo, he needs to get some work done there.
Very aggressive rotation here from Yopaj down to the bot lane, but it might just work. So CTM, he's going to lose his courier, but it won't matter. They get KYXY, who was dominating the bot lane, and now top lane, Ponlo ends up dropping as well as Shanks does secure the kill, and KYXY, he pays his respects to the idol. He gives the tip over.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expects the Invoker to make that quick rotation. Gives some space out to Krish. He doesn't really miss out in CS, and now they're all kind of collapsing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Krish gonna try and back off Shanks. He thought about going for a dive, but Krish is walking a bit too quick. Ponlo gonna be there to give the full bottle back over to the Lina. But so far 3-0, and it's looking like a bit of a repeat start for OB.Neon. Just very dominant, very aggressive. It just works out every time, it seems.
Yeah, I think the key difference is that Yopaj is taking a more active role. He understands that it's not like the TA, it's not like you just need to sit back and farm. You do have to use your spells, find those kills. He is smoked up for the bot lane. Like, if they get a good wrap here, they could easily just look to jump KYXY again.
Yeah, I mean, why the hell not? Like, KYXY, he's still top of the CS board. He's having a great time. But Yopaj is here. Once again, EMP out, Impel connects, and they are just torturing this axe. How dare you take out CTM's treants?
Yeah, they're just ensuring that the big flash farmer is not going to have it. They are diving Enryu up top, though.
Yeah, nice little response here from Team D to be able to pick up Enryu, but Ponlo gets taken down by Shanks. And now more impetuses flying out. Drew, he's just got to run.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, you're still happy on the Faceless Void to get that kill off, but you're still very uncomfy in this lane. Like, the Purge creep comes out, or the Lightning creep comes out, level 3 impetus up on Shanks. Like, there's so much damage that you can't really dodge all of it for Drew, and he's actually had to salve up at this point. Does have a chrono. Oh god.
The Hawk.
Oh man.
Oh, he cancels the salve of Drew. I mean, they're not giving anything to Drew. Drew's got a nothing this game. This is such a sad game for this +1 Void. Zenryu now comes back, they get the enchant off, they've got more impetus strikes to fly out, they've got the vision, he's gonna TP though and they won't have the rule. So at least he gets out with his life intact.
Illusion.
Yeah, it's a bit of a boon, but Ponlo's kind of left. He does have the dive, so I think he's not really under threat of dying. But the push can just start to come out from OB.Neon up top and even down bot. CTM's already shoved in that lane quite a fair bit. This is the power of having the Beastmaster and Nature's Prophet. There's just so much push that can come out.
Krish, EMP's there, Genuel doesn't have the impel anymore, but they will burn the mana of Krish. That's almost just as good because now he's going to have to walk all the way back to the fountain. Can't really stick around in the laning phase like that. Drew instead is going to take over the mid lane. Now, this is how desperate it's gotten. I mean, Drew's at 2.9k net worth. It's not been a good time for him. He's just about 500 gold behind in net worth to CTM, and he needs a way to catch up, and this might be the only way. Though I say that, Tornado's there, Genuel, Impel gonna land, EMP gonna burn all his mana, and Drew's not going anywhere. And that's something we didn't talk about, John. The EMP and the mana burn of Genuel, it's burning everyone 100% of their mana. Nobody's got any left after that combo.
Yeah, and it's just devastating for the Faceless Void. Like, he can't even time walk out. All the controls there coming out from OB.Neon, 6-1, 2k lead. We saw CTM kind of join in for that fight as well. And he's going for the same build-up on that Nature's Prophet into the Orchid. Not too far, well, not as fast as game one, so it's still a bit far off into that first Oblivion Staff and going into it. But you're still at a really good pace, and it's coming down to this farming issue for Team D that we talked about from draft. Like Faceless Void at 3k net worth, the Axe at 3.5, clearing out the Ancients, the Lena not quite having the presence you'd want, not even getting the big use of that first Laguna yet. Somehow you're going to have to share farm between these three heroes. Whereas for OB.Neon, Beastmaster can just keep shoving lanes out. He doesn't really need to dip into the jungle too hard. Yopaj has just been working across all of the map, not really caring too much. Like, he just shows up, gets kills, gets the work done. He's not being passive. It's only CTM that needs to be passive in Neon, and it's just much better to have that one big core, gather all the farm, then split it up. We've seen that in multiple series where two equally farmed cores compared to one mega farmed core, it doesn't line up. Like, that one big core will almost always win out.
You're certainly not wrong there, John. KYXY being stalked right now by Genuel. Top lane, Pondo. He's not catching a break either. He's gonna die. You've got to give credit to Shanks. I'm really enjoying the way he's playing this Enchantress as well. It's been spectacular. I mean, it doesn't look like it's very difficult. But usually you'd see the Nature's attendance build up, and Shanks, he's opted to go for the Impetus and Enchant maxing every single time. And it's just so much more impactful on the support edge. Tornado. Gonna land on KYXY, but they wanted Krish. And you can see Team D, they're huddled in that mid lane, trying to make sure this Lina not gonna die. Spy Carapace though, EMP, Impel's gonna be off the mark. So it is Krish this time. He's gonna lose a lot of mana, but it won't. Oh, he will get a kill. Yopaj gives Genuel the tip. Even Yopaj was like, yeah, you know, that was a pretty bad move. You know, I can't help. I gotta tip you for that.
I don't know why he kept stopping his movement. Like, I don't understand what Chanyol was trying to do there. Like, he could have just walked out. And he opted to just play around, maybe looking for a juke play or a bait play. It didn't look like the greatest bait. Still, not the biggest pickup for Team D, but you'll take what you can get when you're behind like this. OB.Neon will collapse mid, though. Enryu shows up. The push potential of a Beastmaster plus anyone is huge, and they've got the Hadouken creep up front with the Unholy Aura for the health region. It's a fairly self-sustaining push here.
Like the preemptive sentry ward behind that tier 1 mid tower as well, just for the Hawk. Good game sense there from Team D, but they're still going to lose that mid tier 1 tower with no defense either. And now, of course, the side of OB.Neon, they're just going to take over your jungle. Krish, you are not safe there, so you've got to run. If they can get the ensnare off on Krish, he is guaranteed to die, but they can't get in range for it. Krish is going to back into the tree line, and instead the rest of the team is going to show up. They'll go on to Shanks. He doesn't have the untouchable, and that'll mean they just burst him down. Nice little pick up there for Team D.
Yeah. They did have to pop Finger, but at least Finger's off cooldown now. And you do get that 1 stack on Destrus, so a little bit more damage to build up on. They are giving a ton of free space towards CTM. Again, just look at the position of these pos 1 cores. CTM's just playing bot lane unpunished, has the tier 1 for protection, whereas Drew's already forced in the jungle with 3 other heroes in that jungle. It's just very cramped here for Team D to get that farm spread out. And it's not even that fast for Drew to clear out these camps. Like all he has is the Javelin. It's taking him forever to just clear 1 camp. It's just the nature of Void. It's pretty darn slow in the jungle until Maelstrom's up.
Very, very true.
The seeds of fortune.
Hell, even then it's pretty darn slow, even with the Maelstrom, let's be honest. It's not that great of an item anymore. Things are tough for the Pos 1 Void. Spirit Vessel up now on your Parch, so you know he wants to get even more aggressive. They might have a crack at Ponlo. You just need that roar to connect from Enryu, but Ponlo immediately upon seeing the Beastmaster does back. However, from the other side, he is being pincered in. He seems to know something is awry here. He knows he's in danger. But Januel is going to get nice and close. Enryu gets the Hawk out, and Ponlo, we're going to have some fried chicken tonight, it looks like. Gets stunned up. Do they have the follow-up? The EMP, the roar, they make it happen. Krish is rotated, but CTM will do the same, and Krish has fed his own life away. Even commits the Laguna. Oh, that's a nice call. KYXY. He got 3 heroes. Genuel drops. The Chrono is there. Do you have the damage, though? They're trying onto CTM, but the Tornado's out. They will dunk on him, and they do get a nice pickup. Still Drew now. Needs to back off. Will make it as another call is there from KYXY, and he'll dunk on another. They'll pick up Shanks, and they make the team fight work. Yapaj sticks around, Spirit Vessel out, EMP to burn all the mana of KYXY, but Ponlo will get him with the Sun Ray. KYXY is actually dropping quite low now on Ponlo. He may have overextended. He'll pop the egg. They aren't actually going to be able to burst it down. Or maybe they can, Enryu. He'll just take care of it himself. Yapaj is still alive, meanwhile, as now KYXY. He's been cold snapped and bestled, and now the stun is there from the enchanted creep. KYXY is going to drop. They do at least get Enryu, but they've lost Destrus to boot. And it's classic OB.Neon. If they respawn fast enough, they will be there to continue the fight. The fight's not really over until OB.Neon says it's over.
No, they just don't relent. And a bit of a mistake with that Earth Spike a while ago. They did not catch your Podge. That's how he turned. And Krish.
Yeah, Krish, he's just trying to farm them. He's just trying to get some space. But there is no space. Not when the idol's in the game. 6-0-3 on the Invoker.
Man, just a perfect run for Yopaj. Gets a reset with his regen and his wonder diving.
Yeah, Nature's Wrath. It's not going to even land on Drew, but instead, look who they found. It's just Chaos now. Destrus is going to die. KYXY just blinks away. And Drew?
Why?
I think a bit of miscommunication. KYXY, he just blinked out. And Drew just kind of went back in.
Oh, God. It's just not lining up for Team D. It feels like they might be a bit rattled. Maybe it's the throat singing getting to them. I do love the
getting to me too.
Huskies, though. I love it. I love some throat singing. I listen to Hun Hurtu. If you don't know that band, you should listen to them. Hun Hurtu from Mongolia.
I'd rather not, John. Oh, Mongolia. Maybe I'll give it a try. Mid lane, they've got the Krish Lina. Tornado. Gonna land Sunstrike. A little bit cheeky there, but won't land either. Did you all?
Yeah.
Just a bit of a mana burn there in the mid lane. Just reminding KYXY that he won't have his mana for long.
Yeah, they're just being such massive headaches here on Neon side. And CTM's at the point where he just shows up in lane, gets a push going. Nothing to stop it from Team D. They're even being cut off by John Will. He just spots all of them.
Hawk, he's going to cancel the TP. Meanwhile, yeah, Januel, he has spotted all of them. Tornado's going to be there, but he is going to get dunked on. So he gives his life away for that, but he does buy so much space that the bot tier 2 tower's already gone, and OB.Neon now, they've got a 6k net worth lead.
Yeah, it's massive. They've just managed to secure that space, and it's just down to the farming issue for Team D. You have the Maelstrom up on Drew. The Chrono's there.
It is there indeed. Destrus has the finger up. Do they have the damage? I think they will this time. They won't even need to pop the finger. That's a lot of gold to go the way of Drew. That was a wicked 6 streak on Yopaj, but he will lose it to the Void.
It's a nice, important kill for Team D that gives them a lot more to play with, slows down OB.Neon just a tad bit. But that also tells OB.Neon there's no chrono. So if they actually do want to force the fight, it's going to be a very painful fight. You see Shanks just really poking Ponlo for a ton of damage. You can't underestimate impetus. It's just very, very painful, although.
Yeah, Destrus. This global strat, like, we've casted it so many times. And it just amazes me every time. Like, I really enjoy watching this from OB.Neon. It's just such beautiful Dota.
Oh, yeah. It's just always great to see. I still want the global strat of Zeus, Spectre, Bloodseeker for the amplification, although I don't think it works that way anymore.
No.
But yeah, Zeus, Spectre, then somehow have an Invoker. And
get the
that
AA.
probably wouldn't work. Yeah, with the AA, that would work. That's it. That's the spicy global strat, but we're years away from that. It's been years since that was the strat. Still, Neon, they're not years away from this Roshan. They're already in. They're getting the damage off. They've got that full Solar Crest to speed us up. Team D, they don't have Chrono to jump in. So even if they knew, and they do have the ward watching the ramp, they can't really fight there all too well, and they're just going to have to give it.
So do you legitimately listen to throw singing, John?
Yes!
Wow.
They're not Mongolian, my bad. They're Tuvan. And I think Tuvan is like a part of Russia. Somewhat. And we're near to the border with Mongolia. Yeah, it's like Tuvan throat singing. Hunhurtu, I think my favorite song is... I'm gonna have to look it up, but... Odugen Taiga is really good, yeah.
Wow.
It's great,
You
great stuff.
surprise me every day, John. You really do. Triangle. Oh, they found a big target again. They've got Krish. Sunstrike's there. They don't even need it. Shanks will take the kill. Onto Ponlo. They're just running them down. Impetus. This one's going to hurt. Tornado. Oh, it's going to be short. You're going to be really nice as well, John. Shanks got an enchanted quiver. If the game lasts long enough. It's KYXY. He's been caught out. Your Page, CTM is going to come in. They've got the Orchid. They've got the Impel. And this is just getting painful to watch.
Yeah. They can't line up here on Team D. Maybe they hope for a high ground defense with a Chrono, threaten with that. They're not getting enough farm on Drew. They're not getting enough farm on Krish. KYXY is their top farm core, and he's still lagging behind Enryu, who's been taking a more active role as well. OB.Neon are just playing around his timing well. They alacrity up the Centaur creep.
Let's go, baby. That's legit though, John. Like the enchanted creep gets a lot of bonus damage. It does a lot of damage.
I think that's a dominated creep.
Oh,
though.
it's a
it is fairly tanky, yeah.
No,
like,
it's
it
not
gets
as
25
good.
attack more.
That's
it's still alright.
It's just not as good, John. Genuel, Earth Spike's there. They've got the next assassin, Laguna. They'll blow him up immediately. TP's in. 5 heroes in the mid lane again from Team D, but they're still gonna lose that mid tier too. Like the speed at which OB.Neon's playing at, it's supersonic. Like the Team D, they can't even see what Neon's doing.
Yeah, it's just a blur right now. Team D's response is just always a bit too slow, and they're still trying to farm the paltry camps they have left over. They have Chrono up. Maybe if they catch Yopaj again, it'll start to feel good here.
Perhaps. Problem is, Destrus, he's going to be the one to blink in. They'll drop the egg. KYXY commits the call. Drew, do you want to commit Chrono? Not quite. They will just continue chasing the Beastmaster down, and they do get the dunk. But now Drew, he's been orchided, and he's just going to die. You've got to run the hell away, Team D, because they are on the chase. Don't turn around. It's not safe here. Ponlo loses half his HP in one impetus, just with that little Icarus dive. Which is why I want to see the quiver, because that'll just be the full HP.
Yeah. It's great. I wish it wasn't capped. Like, the damage is capped at 1.7k distance.
Unlucky.
So it's capped. I remember when it wasn't capped, right? There was a time where
I remember.
Wasn't across the map.
I remember, John. Don't you worry. As an Enchantress player, I remember very fondly of those days.
Those were the fun days. Still, not very fun for Team D. These are not the fun days for them, as they're lagging behind 8k, 22-11, 21 minutes in. We have not seen the combinations, Mike. Like, this is something with a Void Phoenix that really drives me nuts. They just can't get the egg Chrono off, man.
Oh, Krish has been caught. He's trying to farm where he can, but there's just nowhere safe. And now the Sprout, CTM, he's on target. He's got the Deso with the Orchid, and he just rips through Destrus. Teaching is indeed hard, John. Teaching is very, very hard.
Oh, gosh.
Hopefully Team D are
And they
learning
just-
though.
Tower is under attack.
Yep, they're onto the high ground here on OB.Neon. Team D, again, they do have good high ground hold with Chrono Egg. They just need to use Chrono Egg somehow. KYXY is trying to buy space, but he does get scanned out as well.
Yeah, your Page just stalking him like he's playing Nyx Assassin. KYXY thinking he's got a free camp for himself. There is actually a Nyx Assassin there with them. He's even going to pop the call now, so they just rush in, seeing that happen. And KYXY, he's not going to be happy. How can you be?
No way. They do relieve the push on the high ground, so OB.Neon don't fully commit. They get some good damage on that tier 3 though, down to 900 HP. So the next shove in should get the job done. Yopaj, he's just constantly hunting now.
This doesn't feel like a Dota game anymore. It just... Well, what's that game called where everyone just kills each other? Jeez, it's the Dota arcade
Overthrow?
game. Oh, it's Overthrow. This is Overthrow for OB.Neon. they're not playing Dota.
No, it does feel that way. They're just always on the hunt. They've controlled the entire map. Team...
Oh, someone buy Genuine another support pack. For the love of God.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. I love the throat singing. But Team D, I don't know how you rectify that farm. Like, I think, again, their best choice is high ground, Chrono Egg. Get that combination off somehow. They are smoked up. Again, land the combination, and you can go from there.
Well, Team D, see if Drew can get the big chrono off. Walk the long way around. Scan is out. They'll catch Shanks with that. Destrous, he'll blink in. Hex is there. It's not really the target they would have enjoyed. And it's not going to be a fast process as he's still alive, Shanks.
Jeez.
He's walking out of there. Call is out. KYXY. Laguna committed. They finally get him. And now Genuel could be in danger as well, but here comes Enryu, a roar out onto KYXY. They at least trade supports. Ponlo's dying to these units. He can't even get out. He's gonna egg for this. And he might just survive because nobody's there to hit it. KYXY can't get the call. Yopaj, he's around. Does he want to join the fray? He's right underneath an observer ward right now, so maybe they could commit the chrono. Meanwhile, CTM, he'll come in for the Phoenix. They're just killing them off one by one. He finds another now. KYXY, he's not safe either. Meanwhile, Yopaj, he's going to go on to Drew. The TP, Genuel, he won't have a stun.
Yeah, it's dicey. Team D just couldn't get the initiation they wanted. It took too long to kill off that Ench. Like, Shanks lived for so long with just level 2 untouchable. They don't have the items to overcome it on Team D. The right-click speed of Drew is just too slow, and they were just cut off. Really good positioning from OB.Neon to really break that fight up and just kind of set it up for themselves. So Team D don't find an opening, but the high ground still holds. OB.Neon doesn't look keen to force that objective yet. They're just playing this farm game, building up in CTM. BKB is up on him. Next Roche, we'll find out in about a minute. That might just be the objective they play for, along with the Ags up on Yopaj. He's just about 200 gold, so he's going to have Cataclysm up soon. And that could be really big as well if it lands on multiple heroes.
Yopaj having a look at Drew. Drew is going to time walk forward, but Yopaj looks like he won't have the... I mean, you've got CTM at any time you want it, quite frankly. I don't even know if you need help around. Can be around at any time. So OB.Neon, they'll take it easy, they'll relax a bit. Aghanims is up now on Yopaj, so there's your Cataclysm. That just basically guarantees that a Roar or Impale target is probably just going to die instantly to the Cataclysm. Not really much way out of that one.
No. You just get run down by the damage output, and that global strat can come into play once more for OB.Neon if they want to pressure. Looks like they are just, again, playing patient. Roshan, respawn timer is 1.5 minutes. So not the shortest, but not the longest. They can kind of play around that if they want to, as you are giving some space out to Team D, but you're also slowly pressuring with that Beastmaster. You just throw the creep wave forward, someone's got to come back, kind of respond, and just ensures there's one less hero in these engagements once they do break out.
Absolutely. Well, Team D, just doing what they can. I mean, they're 13k behind. They're not out of the game yet, though, and that's the positive. They still have a chance. You've still got a Void. You've still got an Axe even, who is going to be able to transition very well once he does have that Manta Shards. And, well, he does have the Manta. He just needs the Shards up.
Radiant are scanning.
Krish, I mean, he's had a very rough time, but he has now queued up the Daedalus, so...
Oh,
Oh, they jump in. Again, Shanks is a really tough target, and now the Impel's there. The Cataclysm flies in, and they are just gone. Call is there from KYXY. They drop the egg. They might get Yopaj, but they'll lose the egg immediately. Ponlo's dead as well, and KYXY, he's going to try and run, but it's no good.
Dire's top tower is
It just happened so fast.
oh man. It's just unfortunate. Team D, they wrap around the back. They run into Shanks again. So Drew just can't commit anything. He can't commit Chrono. They can't drop egg. And now their high ground's open. Like, the NP's alive, so he can just get the damage off here.
Oh, Genuel. Spike Carapace, a very quick reaction with the blink in. Now the BKB from CTM on the Earth Spike. Yopaj will give Genuel the tip this time for a positive play. So he redeems himself. And that'll be the mid-tier 1, mid-tier 3 gone, excuse me. So, again, I mean, I keep repeating, it's complete domination. But what am I going to say? OB.Neon, they're just dominating this game too.
Yeah, I think they had it the minute John Uweld started spamming those
No!
D2 hustlers.
No!
It was it. That was it. They won. They won the mental game because they got KYXY asking what the heck that was.
I gotta
So
give...
they knew it.
I gotta give props. It's probably one of the most tilting voice lines I've heard so far. But you know what? If it gets D2 Hustlers some more support money, by all means, go ahead and buy it. Just don't spam it in my pubs, for the love of God. I will lose my mind listening to that over and over again. So
You know what you should do? You should play Dota while listening to some throat singing. It's actually really relaxing. The game
Really?
just becomes a lot more zen, like, absolutely.
I'll try it on
Probably
stream,
can't
John.
do
I'll
it on
take your
stream.
advice.
Oh, you could try, yeah. You probably will get DMCA strike at some point, as the smokes are out here, Mike.
I'm used to that, John. Smoke out from the side of Team D. They've got the high ground. Yopaj gonna run in, and Ryu right onto Ponlo. Cataclysm there. Drew gonna get a nice chrono off, or it's an okay chrono. It's on 2 supports, and a big call out from KYXY, but is it gonna matter? Well, probably not. They have bursted down Shanks, but Krish is gone. Destrus is gone. They have killed CTM though. So maybe this is going to be it for the team fight of OB.Neon, or who am I kidding? Yopaj is back in after Drew, and Egg is going to be dropped by Ponlo. They're going to try, but the buyback's there from CTM now into the backside. They've got KYXY. Drew's trying to run. It's looking no good for him, though. He is going to time walk and just barely make it out. And now they're going to try and turn maybe a dieback on CTM. He's been caught by the Call the Manta illusions. They do get him down. All right, this could be the turnaround the Team D needed. We'll see if they can somehow capitalize off this.
under attack.
Yeah, Roshan's up. Probably the best play for Team D to make. And Skem's down for 140, a minute 40, so it's going to be a long time for him. If they do get some heroes here, though,
KYXY. I believe he also just bought back, if I'm not incorrect in saying so. And yeah, that is the case. They do get Genuel. Yopaj's not going to be able to finish the kill. Instead, now Shanks comes in. They'll go after Krish. I mean, he is a bigger target anyway. So why the hell not?
no buyback.
No
That's
buyback.
a bigger dieback on the Lina. I mean, the Axe can kind of cut the waves a bit better, so you're not too bad off. You can still hold back on the push, but that's going to give time for OB.Neon to wait for CTM to be back up, to wait for John Uweld to be back up, and go into the Roshan, get the Aegis Chi shard, just keep building up. 20k lead, 37-17. Team D, I mean, Drew's trying his best, but that chrono was only on 2 supports. And they barely won out from that. It still took forever to kill off Shanks and John Uweld there. It's just not what you want to see from your Pause 1, struggling to kill supports in his big spell. The Scotty is up for Drew. More stats. The healing reduction's also kind of nice, and should hold back from how much Shanks has been giving them. And they do spot John Uweld TPing in. Maybe they could bully off this Nyx.
They've got a Cataclysm. Pretty sure. Yopaj, Tornado, gonna land. Genuel just needs the Impel, does get it. Yopaj is there, Cataclysm out, and it's gonna be enough. What stats, John? What stats?
Yeah, it's not enough.
No.
And that was strange because they had John Uweld under ward for so long, and it was really Destrus who decided to back off safely, whereas Drew just decided to greed out for the camp small. So they get punished for it. CTM goes into that Roshan by himself. And with the alacrity up, well, he's hitting for like 400 damage, nearly 500. Yeah, 450-ish. Just so quick. He doesn't even need help. It's just all CTM.
Apparently,
They're going to get the Ag shard up.
Doesn't need an attack animation either, apparently. Oh, see, he's got the enchanted... CTM, give that to Shanks. That's an enchantress item. He's got the enchanted quiver, John. Shanks needs that.
Nah, poor privilege. Shanks, he's got the Mindbreaker. Which, with the attack speed, I guess it's kind of good. I guess you could give it to CTM, but, you know, he wants the silence on him. Shanks wants to have some utility. As we did give the action to it did go to Enryu, so he's got the Hawk dive bomb and he dive in.
Onto Ponlo, where's your backup? They do get the Hex out, but they needed that Roar, I think. EMP there, Cold Snap. Oh, it cancels the dive, and now the Roar comes out. Ponlo's gonna drop. Destrus is just getting annihilated by our Enchantress Shanks. It's KYXY just can't help, and CTM, he just deletes Krish. It's just not fair. OB.Neon. When they're on a roll like this, it's just impossible to beat them.
Oh yeah, and I think it really is just a bit of a lineup correction. Again, communication correction. They shake off that new player feeling when they swapped out for Tims. Shanks is integrated so much better. But they are still fighting here.
I mean, they're trying. Well. They're trying to buy some time. This is their last-ditch effort, but the Ancient is exposed. GG Call is eventually going to come out. Ponlo, he's going to have to tap out of this close qualifier. As KYXY, he'll die one more time before the game is over. And of course, OB.Neon will be the ones qualifying through to the Loopet Pro Series Season 7. KYXY, he gives his credit. Neon too good. John, what else can you say after a game like this?
Not much. It's just a clean performance coming out from Neon. I think maybe the one thing Team D could have done was ban out that CTM Nature's Prophet.
Right.
Giving it away did give a lot for Neon to play with. They just know the pacing they want. With that Prophet, they know the split push, they know the timings, they know when to rotate, when to buy space, and it just kind of runs from there. Team D did put a good fight, and I think their journey here in the close qualifiers was maybe not up to what they expected, but still a decent enough show.
Oh, they did a great job. They did a great job.
Yeah, they went further than a lot of people would have expected, and I think they show so much promise in a lot of their players, especially Krish. Like that first day when we saw Krish playing, he just looked outstanding, and it's that potential in Team D that I hope we still see them around, hanging on forward. I hope that they learn from it. They've got a great coach. They've got Leon Arthur Dota. They've got Ponlo. He's fairly experienced for such a young guy as well, and they just kind of need to keep working. OB.Neon, though, does show us that their experience does trump the newcomers here, so they will get to move on. They're the last qualified team, and that's going to be it for the close qualifiers here in the Loot Bet Pro Series 7, Mike.
That is true, John. It's been an absolute pleasure casting these close qualifiers and doing a bit of a different format for the Loot Bet Pro Series 7 this time around, but it's been fun, I must admit it. At first, I wasn't sure if these qualifiers made any sense, but I've got to admit, it's been a lot of fun, and the Dota has actually been some pretty high quality. So very good stuff. Of course, we are going to have a day break in between, so the 1st of August, there isn't going to be any Pro Series going on, but we are going to be back with the main event on the 2nd. So tomorrow, no Dota here, but the next day we are going to have the main event starting. So it should be a lot of fun, and of course John and I will be back with some other casting duos to help us out and get us through the all the days of the Loot Bet Pro Series 7. With that though, it is MLP Dota on johnxfire, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you guys after a day break for some more great SCA Dota. See you then.